The leading presidential candidates on both the Democratic and the Republican side can agree on one issue, and that it's freedom of speech on the internet isn't that big of a deal. Why are you worrying about it so much? And so unfortunately here in this, we've got Donald Trump and we've got Hillary Clinton basically agreeing that terrorism means giving up some fundamental rights. First, here is Donald Trump.
So the press has to be responsible. They're not being responsible because we're losing a lot of people because of the internet. And we have to do something. We have to go see Bill Gates and a lot of different people that really understand what's happening. We have to talk to them, maybe in certain areas, closing that internet up in some way. Somebody will say, oh, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. These are foolish people. We have a lot of foolish people. We have a lot of foolish people. We've got to maybe do something with the internet because they are recruiting by the thousands.
It's such a classic Trump line. We've got to maybe do something about the internet.
Something.
Okay, what does that mean?
Close it up.
He started that with, we're losing a lot of people because of the internet. Okay, what does that mean?
My friends in high school, we got really into World of Warcraft. I lost a lot of great friends. So
that I believe. And then look at how old school he is. We got to go see Bill Gates.
And look, he's still great. I love Bill Gates.
No, but also a childish way of looking at the internet. If I go see the wizard of the internet, Bill Gates, he has the key to it.
Close it up.
Right? And so Bill, hey, come on, Bill, close up the internet a little bit, okay?
And all the people out there in the crowd are like, yes, it's scary and big. I don't like it.
Well, boo, internet. We're losing people to it.
There was a moment of fear when he said we got a lot of foolish people. People were looking around like, does he mean us? He does mean you.
And does it get, I mean, look at the fascism again here. Yeah, people saying freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nonsense. There's a lot of foolish people out there talking about freedom of speech. No, we got to close it up.
Yeah. And that conservative audience. Yeah, freedoms, rights.
No, liberty. Okay. No, freedom.
Yeah.
No, boo freedom. Boo America. What?
By the way, if you want to overdose on alcohol in about 2 minutes, listen to one of his speeches and take a shot every time he says a lot of people or a lot of things. It's the most vague language. He can't go a sentence without saying one of those two things. But unfortunately, in this case, while you have the foolish person on the right, you also, I would argue, have a foolish person on the left, likely to be the candidate for her party's nomination. Hillary Clinton also talking about freedoms on the internet in this clip.
You're going to hear all of the usual complaints, you know, freedom of speech, etc. But if we truly are in a war against terrorism, and we are truly looking for ways to shut off their funding, shut off the flow of foreign fighters, then we've got to shut off their means of communicating. It's more complicated with some of what they do on encrypted apps, and I'm well aware of that. And that requires even more thinking about how to do it.
So she's 1,000 times more sophisticated, but that also scares me. That scares me a little bit more in some ways.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. We can't have Trump win under any circumstance, right? Because his lack of nuance will lead to, well, let's just shut the internet down. Whoa, no, what? Don't do that. Right?
So what? It's the internet.
So don't be foolish. Just shut it down, right? So, but Hillary Clinton is part of the establishment that uses things like ISIS attacks, maybe in the beginning genuinely, but in a creeping way to whittle away at our freedoms in a more nuanced and sophisticated manner where we're the frog in the boiling water. She knows to turn up temperature 1 degree at a time. Donald Trump just takes the frog and goes, here, meet boiling water.
Yeah, no, I think that she's there. I mean, you see it there, like, well, they're doing recruiting on these sites as if anyone is against the FBI or CIA or whoever investigating forums where they're doing open recruiting. Of course they're shutting down their sites. They're already shutting down those sites. She, because she's more sophisticated, then pivoted to sort of a side point from the point of view of the speech, which is the encrypted apps. And that's what this whole thing is about. They're already investigating the sites where they're doing the recruiting and how they're moving money around online. They're already doing all that stuff. It's that this is going back to something that every time there's a terrorist attack, they bring up this proposed bill, and Barbara Boxer and John McCain can get on the same page on this. It's where they want Google and Apple and Samsung and all of these manufacturers of both the apps, the software side and the hardware side, to put in the back doors for the government to go in. That's what all of this is about. That's that encrypted apps BS. It's nothing to do with websites where they're doing recruiting. It's that you need to be spied on by the internet every single day, regardless of the level of terror worldwide.
You have to understand that if you have even a minuscule amount of evidence, you can get a court to give you every backdoor you want on those particular accounts, right? They'll be like, yes, 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 okay, go ahead, investigate, track them, shut them down, do whatever you got to do, right? Even this fraction of evidence, right? No, as John pointed out, Hillary Clinton's proposal and the establishment proposal that's been around for a long time is not to spy on those guys. That's relatively routine, right? I wish they did it better, in fact, right? We're all in favor of that. We want you to investigate those sites and protect us, right? But then when you say, no, let me actually investigate everybody, well, that's the dangerous part, right? That's how you lose your freedoms. At least Trump is telling you that he's going to take your freedoms away. The other candidates say use coded language so you're not aware that your freedoms are being robbed.